The floor is
Good evening,
yours.
everyone. My name is Cesar Franco. Um, I'm a master mason at Lodge 542. I've been attending since October 2017. And I currently serve at my lodge as a junior steward. I'd like to give you a little bit of background about myself, my educational background. I studied drawing and painting, completed an MFA at Cal State Long Beach. Traveled to Florence, Italy for furthering my studies in drawing and painting. I studied at the Academy of Florence of Fine Arts. 2012, I graduated. Shortly thereafter, my wife and I were expecting a kid. So I wasn't making any money with painting and drawing. So I went back to school for carpentry, construction and carpentry at Los Angeles Trade Tech. Summer of 2017, we took a trip to Italy. And in my jet lag stage, I started researching roof framing. To build a wall, that's what I do. I do construction. So to build a wall, put walls together, is takes some skill. But to construct a roof or cut some stairs takes a little more skill. And I've always found myself curious or enjoying the master apprentice methodology of learning teaching. So, like I said, in my jet lag state of mind, I started looking at roof framing to further my studies in carpentry. And I came across this phrase, art outre. And I was like, well, what is that, So I started searching, digging, and I discovered that it's the framing, timber framing teaching from Middle Ages until now, basically cathedral builders. So that's what this introduction or lecture is about. Is about the building guilds, the French building guilds, and it's called the compagnonnage. So the definition of companion, which basically is what it is, circa 13th century, is one who accompanies or associates with another. From the old French, compagnon, it means fellow, mate, friend, partner. And the root word is from Latin. Com, with, together. Panis, bread. So basically someone who you break bread with. I like to get into the history of the compagnonnage, then talk about the stages of learning and some of their philosophy. So what are the compagnons? They are highly skilled artisans of France and are known throughout the world for their magnificent monuments and buildings. These carpenters, stone carvers, plasterers, metal workers, and other craftsmen belong to independent guilds, which were first established in the Middle Ages and have survived centuries of change. The system has adapted over the years, yet it has maintained its colorful traditions and high standards for quality, and it still draws to its membership many young people eager to master a craft. The compagnonnage movement, which has its roots in the trade brotherhoods of the 13th century Europe, is a unique way of conveying knowledge and know-how linked to trades that work with stone, wood, metal, leather, textiles, and food. The originality of this movement lies in its experimentation with and implementation of extremely varied methods and processes of knowledge transmission, national and international travel, initiation rituals, school-based teaching, customary learning, and technical apprenticeship. Rich in traditions, the knowledge passed down from generation to generation, and the compagnonnage movement is consistently redefined to adapt to technical and social developments in the profession's concerns. The importance given to transmission of knowledge forms the cornerstone of the movement's identity. The first duty of the compagnon is to retransmit. Members are connected by a powerful link of knowledge, which is reinforced by ritualistic practices, chain of alliance, and initiation rites. And a social organization based on the family model and centered around the mother, which is, I believe there's a parallel to it. Mother is symbolic to a lodge. The compagnonnage movement constitutes a unique way of transmitting knowledge and know-how, which is both rich in traditions and open to technical developments. It has its roots in the craft brotherhoods of the 13th century Europe. The organization of communities in their current form has gradually been established since the 17th century. So I'd like to go now and speak about the apprenticeship process of the compagnonnage. Anyone age 16 or over who wishes to learn and or develop their skill in a given profession can apply to join the compagnonnage community. After a period of reciprocal observation and evaluation at the lodges, new apprentices are integrated into the group and begin their training, which on average lasts 5 years. This is the Tour de France period. Apprentices regularly move from town to town every 6 to 12 months, depending on the profession, both in France and internationally, to discover other types of knowledge and ways of passing it on. This integration process is strengthened by an initiation ritual, usually referred to as adoption, whereby the individual is given a nickname based on his geographic origin. For example, Los Angeles for us, or San Diego. And symbolic attributes such as the color, a colored silk ribbon stamped with symbols. The individual then becomes an aspirant. I'm probably butchering that if anybody speaks French. One who has, which means one who aspires. After a period of itinerant training, there is a second initiation rite, reception, which give apprentices access to the status of compagnon. Like the previous ritual, this ritual is also shrouded in secrecy to preserve its magic and effectiveness, which consists of assigning a compagnon name, adding a quality to the first name. Again, for example, Los Angeles, sincere or sincerity. And issuing a new color to the compagnon staff, issuing a new color and a compagnon staff, and unveiling and the unveiling of the rule, which contains the history, customs, and rules of the community. Depending on the trade, elements such as a symbolic journey may be incorporated into the ritual, which can last up to 2 days. Due to the secrecy and solemnity that surround it, after this ritual, apprentices feel solidly connected to their community, becoming a lifetime compagnon, as attested by the existence of funerary rites specific to the Compagnonage movement. So I'd like to now go into some of the teaching methodology. So it's called art du trait, and I guess the literally translate would be the art of tracing. This term, specific to the vocabulary of Compagnonage, designates a science relative to drawing, or more precisely, a way of representing volumes in depth. An art of stereotomy, the trait is also a kind of applied geometry, practiced without abstract formulas required by descriptive geometry. In more concrete terms, the notion of the trait encompasses a set of graphic techniques facilitating the production at a reduced scale or full scale on paper or parchment or even on the ground of working drawings needed to complete structures in wood or stone. For centuries, youngsters on the Tour de France have been initiated into the mysteries of the trait in courses given by journeyman professors who are past masters of its subtleties. In fact, working drawings used in realizing great masterpieces of carpentry are just as remarkable as the artifacts themselves. The trait transforms the work as well as the worker. With support and supervision of his professor, the student thinks, reflects, and learns to envision differently. It is in this spirit that we can understand the definition of the trait formulated by the journeyman, the hard keystone of Aveyron. That was his that's the title he was given, the name he was given. The trait makes anyone who has mastered it a visionary in spatial depth. It is the alchemy of solids. Numbers are scientific, but lines are initiatory. The scribe tradition in French timber framing makes it possible to design complex wooden buildings in 3 dimensions. To understand this system is to master the perception of volume of buildings and thereby possess an essential quality in the art of building. The mastery of the French scribe system is therefore accompanied by powerful symbolic and social practices that play a crucial role in the characteristics representations of the Compagnonage or trade guilds. Knowledge of it enables one to, metaphorically speaking, to know how to behave in the universe and society. So I think this is part of the reason 2017 when I got back to LA, I was blown away by this, you know. And I have always been interested in masonry as well. But seeing how my life is personally, studying art, building, and seeing how this really, really old school way of building, which is basically, you know, I think it blows away how we build today. The craftsmanship of things that's just gone down, but that's neither here nor there. This is what one of the factors that pushed me to make that decision to visit a lodge. So I think that's the conclusion of my little talk information on the Compagnonage. Any questions?
Yeah,
I had a question, Brother Cesar. Did you maybe I missed it in the beginning? Say around what time these were established, and do you know how long they ran before? We don't have any more knowledge as to the time frame. Are they still around? I guess is the first question.
Yeah, they're still around. Yeah, they recently got inducted into the UNESCO.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, they've been since the 12th century.
And do they have lodges or I mean, do they still meet? Are they still actually hands-on builders, or are they also speculative as well?
They're hands-on builder. builders.
Right.
They are I don't operative.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, they're operative. In fact, you know, the Notre Dame, the cathedral that burned down in France,
Mm-hmm.
they are going to be rebuilding the rooftop
Oh, wow.
using those old school techniques. In fact, I have some books, some images that I would like to share. So.
And while you do that, I'm assuming they were also involved in building the original roof. If they were around back then. So that's, I mean, that's amazing. Being able to build that roof twice.
Right, with the same sort of techniques.
Yeah. Wow.
The lumber is definitely different, you know.
Yeah.
But so let's see. These are some of the drawings. If you look over here, that's the type of roof, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's broken up. And the tool that they use for these drawings is just, you know, your compass, square, and ruler with the pencil. Right, the idea.
So they have no AutoCAD.
Oh yeah, AutoCAD would be the modern. This was AutoCAD back in the 12th, 13th century.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you say it was a strictly a fraternal organization, or is it men and women?
Initially, it was men only, but now they are beginning to allow women also. Yeah, but it also depends on what your trade is. You know, like this is for like bakers, shoemakers. It's not just like carpenters or stone cutters.
So it's basically whoever has important knowledge that needs to be passed on.
Sure, yeah.
And we're seeing a use case of it right now in real time with Notre Dame. So I think it's incredible how it survived and how it sparked your interest in a jet-lagged state that led us to our door. That's an interesting story, brother. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other questions?
I got a question about the names. Are the names strictly just you know, where you come from and the color, or how do they come about? Are they public?
The names are based on your where you come from geographically, and the names were given in that way because pardon me, they had to defend themselves as guilds. They had to defend themselves, you know, from unfair treatment, you know, from the master builders. Because you couldn't really move up that system. You could be an apprentice, a compagnon, but you couldn't get to the level of like become a master of your own guild, you know, because that title was passed down usually from father to son. So compagnon remained as like a journeyman mainly. Also, they had fights with other guilds. So there was, you know, it wouldn't say like, hey, yo, Efren Martinez, you know, or sorry, Efren Cortez, you know, then they'll know your name. So it was usually like, you're from the Bronx, so you'll be Bronx, you know, and there's another person from the Bronx, he'll be Bronx too. It's just to keep anonymity. Because there were these guys were unionized, and there were other builders as well. It's just like now, you know, there's unions and there's builders who are non-union.